G4NRC, then it's 3, so station speaker 3, figure 3 in that call sign, please. G4NRC, over. Golf Victor, Echo Hotel, Chris in Winchester. Good afternoon, Greg. 5 degrees, quite pleasant to say. In and out this afternoon as usual. T3V8. G4NRC, good afternoon, Chris. Golf Victor, Echo Hotel, and out. Any other threes, please. G4NRC, over. R&RC, then it's number 2. Station figure 2 in that call sign. That includes you intermediate 2s. Please call now. G4NRC, over. G4NRC, second call, any stations figure 2. Figure 2 in that call sign. Please goes ahead. G4NRC, over. G4NRC, then it's 1. Stations figure 1. Figure 1 in that call sign. Please go ahead. G4NRC, over. R&RC, second call, any stations figure 1. Figure 1 in that call sign. Please go ahead, over. G4NRC, let's go then to the zeros and the mic 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier. Please go ahead. G4NRC. This is mic 0, Golf Uniform Yankee. Good afternoon, Greg. This is Guy. Mic 0, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, Drew. Sierra Whiskey at Ray Golf, Shirley in Cornwall, in and out. Thank you, Greg. Mike 0 in the Mike Andy with Shirley, also in and out. Thank you, Greg. G4NRC, right, we've got Guy, Mike 0 Golf Uniform Yankee, and Drew, Mike 0 Mike Foxtrot Sierra staying with me, and good afternoon to Shirley, Mike 0 X-Ray Golf, and Andy, Mike 0 India Tango Mike, both in and out. Andy, audio sounding exceedingly loud today, just as an observation. Any other Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, G4NRC, over. Thank you. G4NRC, good afternoon, Alan, Mike 0 Juliet Sierra Alpha. Okay, let's have Golf 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, G4NRC, over. Golf Whiskey 0, Juliet, Lima, X-Ray. Good afternoon, Greg. My name is Andy. RAYNET Pembrokeshire. No time today, so in and out, please, over. G4NRC, good afternoon, Andy. Whiskey 0 Juliet, Lima, X-Ray, in and out. So taking the usual shortcuts. Any UK stations who've missed their turn to call in, please call now. G4NRC, over. Golf at Kilo Lima Charlie. Oh, about 2 seconds late, Greg. Mainsville. Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray. Maybe in and out this week, but I'll listen through to the end. 30 NZA, in and out, 27. Flight 6, Zulu Alpha Kilo, name is the E4RC. That's the people in who thought it was a nice blue sky sunny outside. Good afternoon, Phil, Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie, and Andy, Golf Bike 6, Zulu Alpha Kilo, staying with me. And good afternoon, Luke Pitley, and Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, and Oliver Echo 0 Mike Zulu Alpha, who are both in and out. Okay, do we have any international liaison stations today? That's usually Nordstone Band of Norway, Iron and Ireland, Aries of Slovakia, etc. Any of our international colleagues? Chief 4 and RC, over. Chief 4 and RC, final call on any stations wanting to join the RAYNET-UK activity period on 23521, Pheonix Brandmeister of 502351 on RAYNET-UK. Please hold out, Chief 4 and RC, over. Email for 6 in your mind, in and out, happy Easter, great. 4 and RC. Good afternoon, Hans, and happy expanding waistline with lots of chocolate Easter eggs, but I'll do my very best. Nice to hear you, hopefully for longer chat sometime. Okay, let's hit the news of sorts. So as a reminder, today's net is being live streamed by Graham, G7NEH, to YouTube today. Past live streams and recordings are available by searching G7NEH, that's Golf 7 Hotel on YouTube. It might be March, the British summertime next week, but today we still have snow warnings in Scotland, and the British weather remains unpredictable as usual. Overall, though, weather trends remain warmer than they should be, and remembering power supply issues can still occur at any time of the year, probably worth pointing out that UK gas storage is only 32% full today. The balance of electricity supply over demand for the next 14 days is positive. Something that will hopefully get even better as these holidays start and demand reduces even further. There's been no reports of any issues between groups and the surge of events last weekend, which is good. This weekend isn't looking quite so busy, but there hasn't been anybody out over the last 7 days. Be interested to hear how your event went. The changes in licence conditions allowed more use of beta modes. And although we talk about Arden on the net quite frequently, APRS is usually an easy start for groups, but the software is really stagnated with UI View not having been updated for many years. Graham G7NEH pointed out Pinpoint APRS to me, which is new software for Windows, which might be worth looking at. And if you're interested in that, that's www.pinpointaprs, all one word, .com. That's www.pinpointaprs, all one word, .com. So, with that, we'll see what news you talk about in the field, starting with Mike. So Golf 8, Echo Yankee, G4 and RC.
G1 R6 from G8EY. Well, it's not unpleasant here. 9.2 centigrade, 1009 millibars, 65% relative humidity, 4 octaves, or 50% cloud cover. Still a bit humid, 13.4 miles per hour from 330 degrees, and it does tend to go cold at night. Had the latest NRF meeting on, when was it, Monday? I think it was Monday. As usual, there's personnel changes at Red Cross and also in the NRF itself, so the usual thing of new people. So we'll see how things go. The exercise that they're planning for May sometime, don't know the date, now exercise Helios at Echo Lima India Oscar Sierra. and now apparently will involve only 3 locations. But knowing the NRF and their wish to cover from the north coast down to the south border and right the way over to the west, it'd be interesting to know what progress there has been on the subject of applying for high power. I can't say talk through anymore, I'm not allowed to. Remote repeaters crossband, because we will be using crossband, but I don't know how we're going to the system on that. Noted the pinpoint APRS, I shall have a look at that, but otherwise fairly quiet, no obvious events on the horizon. From T8 EEY, over.
Golf Echo Yankee G4 and RC. Okay, right, and what shall I say this? High power repeaters, RSB nudged, and as everyone keeps observing, their system can't cope with bidirectional repeaters, things that have transmitters on both sides of the link. Waiting for their web guy to get back to me and find out whether or not this is something that either I've got to collect all the information they want in the order they wanted, or we'll be able to smash this into the RSGB system. So it's gone rather quiet again. We'll get another nudge, Mike. I've noted your exercise is now only involving 3 locations. It makes all the cutting and pasting of all the many, many talks as I should see you before quite worthwhile. And also noted on the staff changes local resilience for in Cheshire we had a poetry subgroup meeting of the LRF on Thursday. And yes, some new faces also looking around there as well. And an acknowledgement from the other side that they recognise they lose knowledge when somebody leaves. So at least they're willing learners. Okay, I'm sure there'll be more on the next class. Let's see what YouTube's doing. Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, G4 and I'll see you. G4 and I'll see G7 on the H. Great afternoon to all on the net. Okay, first of all, apologies for the late start on the stream. We just missed the check-ins. This was due to OBS deciding to update and then wouldn't accept the graphics driver that was in the PC, so I had to update that. But we're all up and running now. And last week's figures were 35 views and I think it's 5 likes. I'm just not near the computer at the moment. But I'll give you, I'll clarify that on the next round. So there we go. Not a lot to add from here. As Greg says, 10.30 APRS is, I think, worth a look. It did sort of remind me a bit of the old UI view. I think with modern features on as well. I need to do a bit more digging and wire up the piece of TNC up to it and see how we go. So there we go, G4 and RC, G7H. And the H. System being a bit slow today, G7AH, G4 and RC returning. Okay, as you're looking at it, yes, we'll also get the TNCs working better here. Where we at last week's net. Slightly disappointed at my Pi TNC to go very deaf and not receiving anything, so I might be going back to a hardware wall or a sound card TNC. I do have a request, incidentally, from one of our West Cheshire members as to whether or not we will be running an APRS highgate on the Chester Half Marathon, which is obviously not impossible to do now. Wasn't that impossible to do before, but at least nobody's going to quite try and throw some rules at and saying no. Okay, thanks for battering your head against OBS as well. These things do have their moments for updating. Okay, next to Philip, Golf Kilo India Lima, G4 RC, over.
G4 NRC, G4 KIL, thanks very much, Chris. Yeah, all well out here at the moment. What am I notes saying? Oh yes, I think week tomorrow, 1st of April, that will be a RAYNET-UK one. I should hope to make that one. So if you're on the Greg, that'll be perfect, presumably, being a bank holiday Easter Monday. I'm going to be there on that one. I think the only other thing to mention is some discussions on our local app RAYNET group. Talking about, you mentioned automotive things, the various things like WinLink and LoRa and Vara or Varak, Varak volunteer, and plastics. So there are a number of groups, and we had our own 6 weeks, a number of various different groups around looking at various different ones. So interest around on those, it looks like. So I may have some to report on that later, but just discussion starting. I think that's me for the moment. I should still be around for next time round, so I'll keep listening and we'll respond when it comes to me again. Thank you for RCT4KIL.
G4KIL, G4 and RC. We can use the swirl box out again. Right, in reverse order, WinLink is not a mode. WinLink is, just passing this into anybody that will listen, WinLink is not a mode. It is an email gem in America, which has been tested for quite some time and can have some issues. It has to get into external email systems from previous tests. But running the same data modes like Vara AC or Pactor or AX25 point-to-point using the WinLink software to format your email messages is just as good. So people do keep confusing WinLink, the email service provider, with the transmission mode. LoRa, yeah, that's I think very close to 100 mesh plastic. I saw something on a newsletter this week. There's somebody that had been doing some mesh plastic speed testing and found it was about half the speed of 1200 baud AX25. And it runs spectacular UHF or very UH frequencies. So nice mesh nodes. I'm not sure what throughput it has to get. I need to read the article a bit more. But it could be an interesting thing for interfacing with the public, providing a general tap channel around a smaller area, just like we were thinking of using the Arden mesh stuff to do. 1st of April, HFNet will indeed being a bank holiday, be at 1400 in the afternoon, and my attendance will only be predicated on when Junior decides to come back from Winchester and what time she wakes up and sets off on the subsequent arrival. So yes, I should be around on the 1st as well. Okay, to Trevor, G4KUJ, G4 and RC.
G4 and RC in the group, G4KUJ, yes, good afternoon, Greg and everybody else. It's been a fairly hectic week this week. It was a sort of mix of sorting computers and radio. My trusty laptop that runs the QO100 and backdoor and so on. The disk finally died. But my local man has put me an SSD in and he's now whizzing around like he never did. So I'm reloading all that stuff. On the QO100 front, I've still got the digital line, but I'm rearranging the arrangement within the building because, just to give you a quick view, all the aerials are on the northwest side of the bungalow, which has a flat gable roof where the mast is, and the shack is right at the other side of the building, and the coax cables between the two up over in the loft are about 25 metres, which is not a lot good for 2.5 gigs. So I run the QO100 stations from the mast end. But I bit the bucket, bit the bullet, and bought the very expensive Icon remote software for the IT9700. So I'll be able to network that back to the shack, which will improve things now end. And by shuffling the aerials around a bit, I found a spare coax to run the SDR back to the shack. So that's all happening. So that should enable all the radio stuff to run from one place, which will certainly please my wife, who's corner of the desk, I think, with the 201 station.
G4KJ, G4RC. Okay, thanks for that blaze of digital distortion then, Trevor. All copied. Should have got shared an SSDs before your computer started failing over. Your comment about icon and remote software reminded me that I actually wanted to do something like that from the office area here to my 7300. But for that I have to have some reliable networking between the two rooms in the house, which is where Arden was meant to be fitting in. So still playing with it. But we'll ultimately hopefully be able to work everything from all locations as well. Right, Guy, what's going on in the world of DMR server? Mike Zero Golf Uniform Yankee G4 and RC over.
G4 and RC and 0 GUI. Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, all. I'm going to keep this short because I've got a terrible cough and cold and dodgy voice. But just to say, no, it's still running, it's still working, no problems at all. I was going to say something fantastic, but I can't think what it is now. No, so all good here. Glorious sunshiny day all day today, which has been rather nice. Given the garden the chance to dry out and stop being a pond and we've been to some sort of solid land. But that's it for me, so thanks so much, and don't bother worry about calling me in for the next round. So this is Mike Zero Coffee for me, and handing back to D4, and I'll see.
Mike Zero Golf Uniform Yankee G4 and RC returning. Trevor has already given you a sick note after you coughed, out down and log on straight away. Okay, thanks, Guy. Yeah, server's been running fine from everything I can see, and yeah, I kind of hoped for slightly more good weather through the weekend, but rained quite a lot here yesterday, and I have still got some roof works to do, so we're waiting for the long weekend. Okay, copy yours on this one, so take care, and True Mike Zero Mike Fox Sierra. On with M0 TGC got in touch with you after your comment last week. M0 MFS G0 T4 and RC over.
G4RC M0 MS. Yes, he did, and I have a IP phone packaged up and all ready to ring off in his direction. Other than that, my Wi-Fi seems to have died on me. Anything wired is doing just fine. The hotspots are obviously talking, the repeat is still talking, but can I get a signal on my phone from the garden? And I'm in the middle of putting a DC-DC charger into the Volvo because we've got our first event. Well, I say our first event, it's actually a Cornwall event next week on the Saturday, the London Land End Marathon, and then we've got a radio survey for the Expo Challenge on the Tuesday. So I shall be out and about and hopefully trying out MB9 call signs you very kindly obliged with. Apologies for us not talking to each other in West Devon and knowing that they existed, but such is life. I'm making a final because I need to get the car put back together before my home. And we'll catch up with you next weekend from M0 MFS.
Mike Zero Mike Fox Sierra G4 and RC. Okay, yes. Right, glad everybody was in touch with you if needed to. DC-DC converter reminds me I've got to try and interpret some photographs I took, but to try and power the 5-volt devices in here, I got all those multi-way chargers that will run out allegedly 5 volts on various USB ports, and find that when it's running, it absolutely deafens the SDR, which is on the other shelf about 3 feet away. So I've got a 12 volt to 5 volt DC converter, not a charge, not a 7805, but some kind of switch mode device, and took some oscillograms of the level of ripple on the output versus what I get off the horrible charger, and trying to just get the courage now to actually use the thing for real and see whether it does cause as much noise. Is it possibly worth noting your noise levels beforehand and then when the DC to DC is running, whether or not it might cause some issues in some areas. Okay, good luck with the events and the surveys, and talk to you next week. Next and not last, Alan, Mike 0 Juliet Sierra Alpha G4 and RT. 0 KSA, G4 and RC. Have we distorted too close to the hotspot or too far away? G4 and RC. Mike 0 Juliet Sierra Alpha G4 and RC. Over. For an RC, okay, I'm going to get Alan's talking to himself, he'll realise in a minute that he's his turn. Phil, down to you, Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, G4 NRT, J Council Returning. Hey, very good afternoon, one and all. Sorry for my tardiness, but I literally turned the volume up just as you said now the G7s. So I thought I wouldn't hit the BTT and wait my turn towards the end. So here we are. What's been happening? Not an awful lot. The little repeater system I've been playing around with, I've got the controller for work. With software runs on, in this case, Pi. It's part of an asterisk exchange system. There was a module for repeaters that's dropped out, so I managed to find a binary that works. So getting that configured is really interesting, but it's working, sorts. So that's still progressing. Yeah, the LRF in its widest form has been actually quite stable on membership, which is a nice change. It's not changed for a year or so. That probably means at the next meeting I'll do a shitload of changes later. The grant for money was very good last weekend. We went down there with Lincolnshire RAYNET, or with Lincoln RAYNET. Which doesn't cause us trouble as time goes, having Lincoln and the Lincolns there, but I'm sure we'll sort it out eventually. Lincoln RAYNET went down. Probably got at least 2 people wanted to join, and they're in the process. Another one says he wants to, but that might take a little longer. And a couple of people more extremely interested. So that's good. That was worth getting down there for a few hours. And Grant was only an hour and a bit from here, so it wasn't too bad. I went there to help. So that was good. And what else is going on? No, exercise is a bit hard at the moment. We're managing to get some time in front of the users when they're doing other things as well. At the moment, sat phones are causing headaches. They're having lots of exercises involved in sat phones. And we managed to get invited in at the same time, so they'd try the sat phone and which will already units work. It's in front of the users, which is a good thing. That's probably it for the moment. I need to talk to Trevor sometime. I think I need his advice on some pieces, but this is not the media or the time to do it on. So
G4 NRC groups, G8 penalty. Go and see if we can get further side to the bridge this time. G8 KLC, G4 NRC, now waiting at Brandmeister as well as RAYNET-UK. Okay, next on the events, we tend to have a bit of an issue that we've got some very large council offices in our particular patch of Cheshire, which are now very vacant, and they're going to have a major incident exercise there next week, over the next week, I think it's Tuesday. Because it's not very often you get a 6 or 7 story building with basement, former nuclear bunker basement, to play in as a fire service, so they're going to have a big sort of exercise on, and then I get the questions, are we playing? Well, no, because it's, if you like, just a fire. So there are exercises going on, but given within our county as well, with the number of coma sites that control major accident hazards, as we're lucky enough to have one, then there's an awful lot of statutory exercises that have to take place, which do push some of it out of the way, which can get a little frustrating. Anyway, yeah, you will see whether or not you're still reporting stable RF in a couple of months' time. Last on the list today, it's Andy, Golf Mike 6, Zulu Alpha Kilo, G4 and RC.
G4 NRC, EM630 over the group. Very good afternoon, located in North East 5, just south of St Andrews. Happy to report there's no snow here. 12 degrees and we're a keen easterly wind, which is making life interesting. No traffic. Just setting up a gateway here and mapping it into the RAYNET system. And that's about where we are at the moment with the Fife group and progress being made. So until I get into the swing of it, I'll play back to that good drop. And thank you for letting me join you this afternoon. GM6, there you go.
Mike 6, Alpha Kilo, G4 and RC. Okay, I believe the snow hasn't got to you yet. I've forgotten quite when the yellow warning kicks in for the northern half of Scotland. That's what I remembered from a couple of hours ago when I saw the weather forecast at the West Office. It's definitely coming. I can't remember the exact time it was ideally going to hit, or whether or not there was any particular height it was going to going after first, if you were over so many 100 metres, etc. Anyway, your gateway via Brandmeister is working very well, no audio issues, everything going nicely. Next steps, since I see you are registered on the RAYNET-UK system, is adding on our own talk groups as well, and then you can get away from the Modern Crowd on Brandmeister and have RAYNET to RAYNET conversations within your own group, as some members on here frequently do. Okay, I don't even think goes that might get upset, so I'm going to go back to Alan. Mike 0 Julius Sierra Alpha. Let's see if you got this a working system. And 0 JFA, G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, we don't appear to have an Alan anymore. Give me all the call on the next round. Okay, so back to the top of the list for any finals, and it's back to Mike. Golf 8 for Echo Yankee. I will see if I can get the extra information for tomorrow evening, Mike, but somehow I doubt it. Our SGP system is looking at inflexible. GATY, G4 and RC, over.
G4 MRC from GAEY. Yes, I've been looking at those replication applications, I suppose. Yeah, they seem very inflexible. So mostly the only reason we've never had any interference on through in Norfolk is we've always had the option of changing frequency if necessary. Not sure as that will be allowed either. The problem is, of course, that if you have a specific frequency for your temporary repeat and you wish to use it, and that frequency is being used by somebody else, you know, sort of doomed phrase we used to say, yeah, well, we shall see. I'm sure it'll all come out in the wash. If necessary, you'll have to buy some very long cables from GATY, and thanks for running the next again, Brett. And look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. I'll try and think of something to stir things up with. Over.
For NRC returning to Golf and Tango Yankee. Okay, right, well, of course, that's why for the 5 to 25 watt ERP stations, you do have frequency agility, albeit it's not a good move if we've actually managed to coordinate groups in a way class with each other. So I was glad to get through last weekend, which was like the first test of what this system actually worked. But for the high power repeaters, the high power repeaters, that's 25 VRP and higher, you will be on fixed frequencies. I don't think there will be any frequency agility. The standard defense will be using CTCFS tones against any erroneous operation. Because that's the way everybody else wanted it. So we were kind of lucky to get what we got in the end. Alright, and repeater application forms on the RSGB website. When I looked at UK repeater, it's a bit misleading. The form says, click here if you want to apply for a repeater, but then there are drop-downs that let you select repeaters. So it looks like their system's still a little bit awry as well. Anyway, with repeat facing, we're trying to get the facilities back. It's not just you who have a large area to cover. But we used to everything over 25 watts CRP was meant to be the exception rather than the rule for many decades. Okay, down to Graham. Let's see if we've got anything in the YouTube chat. G7 in the HG for an RCA. Yeah, G7 returning. Okay, nothing in the YouTube chat. At the moment we have 3 viewing. The stream, 9 views in total, and 4 likes. Last week's views were 33 views, not 35, but we did get 5 likes. So there we go. Not a lot else to add from me, I don't think. So back over to you, Greg. G4MLC, G7H. G7H, G4 and RC returning. Okay, guys, thanks for that. No comments in the chat. It's good, at least looking in the right place for feedback though. Just as a reminder for any of the listeners or later viewers, please do put something in Graham's chats on YouTube, just so we know how many people are actually there. And active. That'll be good. So, Philip Silvers, still 4 Kilo India Lima, G4, and RC over.
Yeah, from G4 carrier. Yeah, so not very inclined, I don't think, to respond to my comments earlier on. That was good. There was some comment about something for a night. I've seen that your local one. I'm sort of assuming that's going to be this channel. Not a problem, but as I think I've mentioned before, I do from time to time make use of this talking panel to feed into our South Office RAYNET FM net. On Monday evenings from about 8:30 till 9. If we have a failure of our local folk app on DMR, we found the easiest way of doing it. Perhaps you can just clarify if whatever the future for tomorrow night is going to involve that or not. So there's no big issue, it is just worth knowing. Okay, see you soon, and hopefully speak to you next week. Of course, the Easter Sunday, I should be up. I know there's a lot happening. At the I would think I should be up, but I hope there will be. Otherwise, I'll talk to you on the Monday. G4RC, people out.
Golf G4 Kilo India Lima, G4 and RC. Okay, tomorrow night is committee of management meeting, so my customers have also seen my face on a Teams call for a couple of hours. So no, the DMR talk groups will be vacant for use by anybody such as yourselves for that kind of net. And okay, so next Sunday, slightly taken aback, the basketball fixtures have got really messed up, so most of this will have been Saturdays, which is why I've been relaxed about running the net. And next Sunday, and yes, even if it is Easter Sunday, there is a basketball game at 6 o'clock in the evening. So I do need to leave here at 5, so when we do have the net next week, expect it to be a little bit missed. Okay, have a good week, talk to you next week, and Trevor, a final from you. Golf 4 Kilo Uniform Juliet, G4 and RC.
G4 and RC, G4 KUJ. Yeah, okay, very interesting time. Just to pick up your point about your IC 7300, because I've got a 7300 for the HF as well, so at least I can argue I've split the cost of the license between two radios. And the internet connection between the 9700 and the network will be good, because I've got a little Wi-Fi bridge which will be a 5 gig bridge to the BT, which is about 3 meters away in the other. If I test it on the phone, I'm getting about half a gig download speed, so I think it'll be all
G4 KUJ, G4 and RC. Okay, well, if only for money of an iPhone license, it's always worth having, I suppose. I was using Canadian Press software for, whose name is Aids at the moment, for controlling the 7300, but I did have problems using the in-house Wi-Fi, which is why I was looking to use the Arden mesh to avoid a single point blockage. Still got to play with it though, more than many things to be done. Okay, next is another attempt for Alan, Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, last call for you, G4 and RC.
Well, thank you, Greg, for being patient. Are you receiving me now?
Zero JSA, yes, loud and clear, over.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm away from the hotspot. I'm sitting indoors right. I've heard almost everything what's been said. And thank you for that. Have a great day. Best 73 to you all. Back to you, Greg. Someone holds it. G4LC, yep, 0 JSA, Sonic in the sun.
JSA, G4 and RC. Okay, you were good at the start, but over, and you moved away from the hotspot, and then it just disappeared again and popped back up for the last few seconds, and dropped off, to my view, both the Brandmeister and RAYNET-UK sides of the bridge. So, okay, we shall keep playing with this one, Alan. We know your system works well, or has done. I'll get it back from that point. So we've got 2 to go. Phil, JKLC, you jog my memory about something else about LRFs. I can't remember the detail, even though it was only Thursday, but there's a lot more being pushed out on LRF about community resilience and communities being able to stand up their own risk centres and provide their own immediate assistance based on a group that is working out at the University of Manchester, and perhaps got anywhere near you. C8KLC, P4 and RC.
G4NRC, G8KLC. And you just called me. No, nothing further, Greg. Thanks very much for on tonight or this afternoon. Next week you'll be a short one. Or give him a quick one. It shouldn't be a problem. Well, we shall look happy Easter. We'll talk to you next Sunday. G4NRC, G8KLC. Extremely sunny Lincolnshire.
Yeah, KOC, okay. I'll put community resilience on the list for next week to talk about then, and enjoy the sun and the show. Right, my logger has confused me because he's typed against Andy, but Andy's out, so I don't believe that quite yet, so we'll try anyway. Golf Mike 6, Zulu Alpha Kilo, GM6 LAK, hopefully your system stayed resilient for 51 minutes, Andy. Golf Mike 6, Zulu Alpha Kilo, G4NRC.
GM6 with the group. Tie the ribbons and thank you for net control. Yeah, I'll get the server side of the house sorted this week, and hopefully try it in on a different path next week. So thanks very much, and thank you to the group for allowing me in. I wish you all 73. GM6 LAK.
Golf Mike 6, Zulu Alpha Kilo, G4NRC. No problem, Andy. It's here to test. The wrong thing to say, but when the server was set up in the middle of COVID, it was very easy to test through the day as we were all sat at home and monitoring subgroups and playing the systems. It's a bit harder now that work has intervened. My working from home friendly mob for me is going to work pretty much 5 days a week. So the net is at least one rough you can aim for and go, yeah, that's when they'll be able to get some testing done. Anyway, good to hear you. Hopefully hear more from you in the future. So we shall close the net for today, and thanks everybody for taking time out on what looks like quite a nice day outside to participate in this afternoon's net. Be careful, have a good week, and until next Sunday afternoon at emphasis 1600 hours local time, because British summertime is coming, I will now close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net and return the network to an open net rather than a directed net. 730, this is G4NRC now closing and reversing to my normal call sign of Golf 0, Delta Uniform